Welcome back to the review of what the hell happened in the Dutch Grand Prix. So let's see what was the interesting race, actually, thanks to some incidents that some people believe there's some conspiracy or whatever. So let's check the race. The starting grid, as we mentioned, Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz, Hamilton, Perez, Norris, Russell. There was some kind of interesting battle to the first corner where Carlos Sainz went a little bit wide, and then he didn't even realize, or he didn't even care, that Hamilton, for example, was in the inside part, right? They touched, nothing was investigated. First corner incident, it's just a small kick in the corner, right? So it went on. So the first three maintained position. Hamilton, Perez, Russell. Russell actually lost position to Norris and overtook him later. Here is the contact between Sainz and Hamilton. And this is the 1, 2, 3, third corner should be, where you can see that Norris is ahead of Russell, and Stroll actually was trying to overtake him as well. We saw Magnussen going out. I think it's the only car that went off the track without being pushed or whatever. But he was okay. Went last, if I'm not mistaken, to the right, rejoined the track, and that was it. Russell overtaking Norris with ease. The Mercedes actually had some pace in this race, and here comes the main fun again. At the beginning of the race, I think we were betting how is Ferrari going to screw the race up when they have two cars against one, because let's face it, we are not counting with Perez to be there anymore. Well, this is the screw up of the race, I think, and probably the year. The Sainz comes in, they call him to the box, it arrives, they put him the medium tires in exchange of the soft ones, and the rear left tire was not there. He lost around 10 seconds. This guy brought the tire, so from the inside of the box. So 3 tires were there, 1 were missing. How the hell did this happen in a professional F1 team? One of the teams with the biggest budget, this should not happen at all in the first place, but it happened, unbelievably. So this is the screw up of the weekend. Ferrari are throwing the championship, well, they already threw the championship away, but they are making so many ridiculous mistakes that not even, Haas or Williams are making at this stage, right? It's incredible. But anyway, we saw the fight between Mick Schumacher and Sebastian Vettel going side by side for I don't know how many corners, right? It was interesting to see that. Was Vettel going to be as nice inside the track as he is outside of the track with Mick, and vice versa? But anyway, we saw that Hamilton was attacking Perez already. This is this is a thing that I wanted to analyze, because Alonso was the first one that came in to put the hard tires, and they realized, everybody thought that perhaps the hard tire being 1 second slower was not going to be the option. But some brave teams or drivers decided that it was worth the risk trying to make only one stop. And Alonso was the first, Ocon followed, Norris followed, and then both Mercedes went for it when they started with a medium, while all the other people around them started with the softs. And this is what happened, actually. Hamilton started to catch up with Perez, and this is Perez blocking the tires, trying to make himself as wide as possible, trying to be the knight to defend Verstappen like he did in Abu Dhabi, making Hamilton lose a huge amount of seconds, right? Once again. And actually, after this is the first corner when they went off, Perez went all the way to the curb, making sure that Hamilton had to brake if he wanted to stay in the race or in the track. Funny enough, later on the race, the same thing happened to him when he was trying to overtake Carlos Sainz from the outside in the same corner, and Carlos Sainz pushed him to the curb, but Perez didn't brake as Hamilton did with him. in this incident, and he was complaining on the radio, "Hey, he pushed me off the track." He's like, "Mate, in lap 36 you did the same thing to Hamilton." But anyway, and they were not the only ones who did it, because I think it was Norris as well pushed Alonso off the track. Anyway, this is the overtake, the very next lap, as you can see, lap 37, overtaking Perez with ease. Mercedes is not the fastest car in the straights anymore, so it was kind of difficult to overtake. As when the Red Bulls actually overtook Hamilton later, for example, with kind of ease without even DRS. And this is another incident that should be really, like, there should be a really big penalty for that. Vettel joins the racetrack right after Hamilton overtakes Perez. He's a lapped car, and without his engineer telling him anything, or I don't know, he didn't care or whatever, he joins and keeps being in the racing line while Hamilton and Perez are fighting for position. And you can see here that Vettel actually blocked Hamilton so much that Perez took a chance to overtake him once again, which he didn't. And here comes the incident of the race. Yuki Tsunoda stops the car in the middle of the track, on the side of the track, right? Saying that the tire is not well fitted or something like this. The team tells him, no, all the tires are perfectly fitted, you can keep going. This created a yellow flag and later a virtual safety car. In a moment where Hamilton and Russell were actually flying on track with the hard tire, they were gaining the time against Leclerc and Verstappen. Leclerc and Verstappen were going to stop again, while Hamilton and Russell were aiming not to stop again. So their race was compromised. And this came at the moment when Verstappen actually could go for that change of tire in the strategy if this happened. They are the same team, Red Bull and AlphaTauri, so many people started to see conspiracies right there, because he kept going. He went to the pit lane, they checked the car, they did everything, and then went off to the track once again, and then he stopped again on the side. This virtual safety car gives a 5 second less per pit stop, so of course they took the advantage, and they changed from mediums to hards, because they saw that the hard tire actually was better than the medium tire in the long term. So that's what they did. And then came the other incident of the race when Valtteri Bottas stopped the car at the end of the straight line, in the main straight. And for me, it's something unacceptable what happened, and the dangerous thing. Carlos Sainz was overtaking one of the Alpines, and you can see clearly here there is a yellow flag because the car is stopped there, right? He didn't care. He overtook the Alpine and then he continued going. The reason they say is that he started overtaking, I think it was Ocon. He started overtaking Ocon before reaching to the yellow flag, so he had the right to fight for that position. Imagine something happens and Valtteri Bottas suddenly gets off the car and I don't know, a tire explodes in Sainz's car and it goes against Bottas's car and hits Bottas. This for me, this should be a huge penalty for Carlos Sainz for aiming to overtake when there was a car stopped at the end of the straight. It was not even investigated, because the claim was that by some centimeters or 1 meter, something like this, Sainz passed in front of Ocon through the main straight at that point. For me, it's an unnecessary danger and should have been punished. But anyway, apparently they considered it was okay. New people in charge, Charlie Whiting, would have penalized this guy at once. But anyway. So, safety car once again. Of course, everybody stopped to put the soft tire except for Hamilton. The team ordered him to stay on track. Russell thought it was a really bad idea and told the team he wanted to pit for softs, which paid off later. And looks like Mercedes and Hamilton, I don't know which one of the two, probably Mercedes strategist, didn't learn anything from Abu Dhabi last year. They could have stopped. They could have tried to attack Verstappen, even though the Red Bull had more pace. It was quite bad, actually, what they did. It didn't learn. They kept Hamilton on track with the mediums, and that's what it was. That's how Mercedes lost the race. You can see here, mediums and softs. He kept the position, and here it comes the penalty for Carlos Sainz. They called this an unsafe release because they were passing through the pit lane as there was a truck on the track removing the Alfa Romeo Bottas. So they made a pit lane pass through everybody behind the safety car. So of course everybody, or the ones that wanted to pit, decided it was a good idea to stop here. The McLaren and the Ferrari were very close. So when Sainz attempted to go out, he didn't want to hit the mechanics. So he did it very slow while Alonso was coming here fast. This was dangerous, yes. Could have been avoided. Well, apparently the pit lane is very, very narrow. So the space, in case of two teams having the pit stop at the same time, it's very bad, and it's kind of difficult for the driver to try to go out, as happened to Sainz. And before, I think also when Sainz had the problem with the pit stop, Perez going out hit one of the tools of the Ferrari team, right? They gave him a 5-second penalty for this. I mean, for me, it's much more serious than the thing that happened with the yellow flag than this. But anyway. And then the race started once again. Verstappen overtook Hamilton at once without the DRS. No problem there. Soft tire versus medium tire. And all of these people had soft tires. So Hamilton was a sitting duck, waiting for the laps to go down and aim to finish as high as he could. This is Russell trying to overtake Hamilton. There was kind of a moment of danger between the teammates as Hamilton was moving and Russell didn't know which way to go. But anyway, overtaking. Leclerc, much easier than Verstappen with the DRS, so very easy. And victory for Verstappen. Russell, Leclerc, Hamilton, Sainz, Perez, Alonso, Norris, Ocon, and Stroll made the top 10. It was an interesting race, it would have been interested without the safety car. I think it would have been to see how the two stopping Leclerc and Verstappen would have fought the one stopping Mercedes of Hamilton and Russell. But anyway, things happened and Red Bull adapted better than anybody else. If there was a conspiracy or not with AlphaTauri, who knows? We will never know for the victory. I think they don't need that, being honest. They have such a big advantage in the championship that they don't really need these kind of things, right? I mean, yeah, Verstappen's fans go there and make the thing look orange and cool and great for a racetrack that, first of all, shouldn't even be in the calendar, but anyway. So, yeah, I think it's necessary, and I think it was not on purpose, no conspiracies, but anyway, this is what there is. How the race finished behind the top 10. Gasly, Albon, Schumacher, Vettel, Magnussen, Joe, Ricciardo, Latifi, Bottas, and Tsunoda. By the way, Mick Schumacher once again finishing in front of Kevin Magnussen, and they want to keep him on the team. Magnussen, not Schumacher. Apparently Haas wants to get rid of Mick Schumacher when lately he's beating Magnussen race yes and race again. This is the championship. We have more than 100 points, 109 points of difference between Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc. Kind of embarrassing. And Sergio Perez is in P3 with that rocket. So, yep, this is how the championship stands. George Russell, maybe if Ferrari keep making mistakes like that, he might actually catch Leclerc and finish on top of them. Hamilton is also catching Sainz. And the Constructors' Championship is kind of close. There's only 30 points between Ferrari and Mercedes fighting for the second place. So it's going to be interesting from here to the end of the season. I think there is 7 races remaining. So I think the fight is not going to be Red Bull versus Ferrari, but Ferrari versus Mercedes. Anyway, the prediction, I said Verstappen was going to win with Leclerc, Sainz, Hamilton. So I think I did guess a couple of them. Hamilton, perhaps. Yeah, it was more or less around there. More or less, at this stage of the season, you can start to guess where everybody is going to finish, right? So, quiz time. What year did the Zandvoort racetrack come back to the calendar again? Well, the answer is 2021. Since 1985, we're not racing in Zandvoort, so that was the year when it came back, very easy. I actually gave the answer also in the video. So this is it. We have an Italian Grand Prix this weekend in Monza. I think it's gonna be a very easy victory for Verstappen, unless they make a huge mistake in Red Bull, because let's face it, they are very, very fast on the straight lines. Something Ferrari is not their strongest point. Same like Mercedes, they are very slow in the straight lines. So I think Red Bull is gonna be winning quite comfortably. Anyway, Wednesday we will make a silly season once again, as there are things moving around. And see you on Friday with the prediction as per usual. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.